At this time, I'll call the Paulding County Board of Commissioners meeting on January 26, 2021 to order. Welcome guests, and I don't see any elected officials, but it's always good to have any of you here. Tommy, you got that list again for me? And a good time to silence your phones. Thanks, sir. As in keeping with our tradition, we will stand for the invocation and pledge the flag. Let's pray together. Gracious God, we just bow humbly before you tonight as we would seek to be in your will. Nationally, we ask for your help to set aside our differences and look to the great cause of working in unity and harmony, to be in your will and to live a life of love according to the founding principles of our great country, the United States of America. We ask that you hold our country and our county in your hands, and that we stand strong together, and we pray all these things in Christ's name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Action to adopt the January 12, 2021 work session and board meeting minutes. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt by Commissioner Stover. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Carries 5-0. We have no announcements tonight, no invited guest. Bid award, which is item number 2, approve the purchase of a track loader to the lowest bidder, L&N Supply, in the amount of $67,334. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Caker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Stover. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And any opposed? Carries 5-0. Item number 3 is action to approve the purchase of materials to provide installation of the Seven Hills Connector water main in the amount of $464,779.70 located in Post 4. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
A motion to approve by Commissioner Stover. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Caker. Do we have any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries 5-0. Item number 4 is action to award the flow monitoring services for Pumpkin Vine and Copper Mine sewer treatment plants to ADS Environmental Services in the amount of $285,334 located in Post 3. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Hart. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dunn. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries 5-0. Reports from committees and departments. We have none. Public participation on agenda items. We read them at the work session, so I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Stover. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Caker.
Chairman, I'm sorry, is that for the public participation or is that for the consent agenda?
Sorry, I didn't understand you.
Is that for the public participation or the consent agenda?
On the consent agenda? Yeah, this is the consent agenda.
That's the consent agenda, okay.
Yeah. So we have a motion and a second to approve the entire consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Carries 5-0. New business item number 10 is action to approve the option to extend the existing contract services agreement for the Paulding County Kiosk Program for 1 year. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Hart. Is there a second? I'll second it. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Carries 5-0. Number 11 is action to approve a project funding allotment increase in the amount of $30,000 for the completion of the Costco Drive project, project number PRINP 034-1, located in Post 1. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Dunn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Caker. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries 5-0. New business number 12 is action to approve change order number 9 for CMAR, Construction Manager at Risk Services, for the Richland Creek Reservoir Water Treatment Plant, the Etowah River Pump Station, the Reservoir Pump Station, to extend PC Construction's contract final completion date to March 31st, 2021. Of course, in Post 4. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Stover. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hart. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Carries 5-0. New business 13 is action to approve the chairman to enter into an agreement with Kelly Landscapes Management Incorporated for the roadside right-of-way turf maintenance services contract in the amount of $168,597.65. The contract provides for finish mowing, string trimming, edging, and litter pickup of approximately 66 acres. That's 10.5 acres of median and 55.43 acres of roadside shoulders on various county roads. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Stover. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dunn. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? 5-0. Number 14 is action to approve a development agreement with North Paulding Development LLC for construction of a water main along a portion of Seven Hills Connector, Post 4. Do I hear a motion?
Dave, I need to abstain from this vote, please.
Okay, we have one abstention from Commissioner Stover. And I'll make the motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Caker. Anything we need to discuss? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Carries 4-0 and 1. And lastly, number 15 is action to adopt Resolution 20-02, confirming executive session for the purpose of real estate and personnel. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Stover. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hart. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Carries 5-0. From the 2 p.m. Planning and Zoning meeting, first we have 2020-22-Z, application by Zachary and Lindsay Shimoski, requesting to rezone 5.513 acres from residential 2, which is suburban residential district, to A1 agricultural district for agricultural purposes. Property is located in land lot 854, District 2, Section 3 at 405 Paulding Boulevard in Post 2. The Planning Commission's recommendation was approval with a vote of 6-0 and 1 with the 2 stipulations. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve by Commissioner Caker. Is there a second?
Second.
Chairman, I'm
I
sorry.
think
was that
I
motion-
think I messed up.
Was that motion with the two stipulations?
Yes, ma'am. And is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? I thought we were supposed to have our people who've signed up to speak already before we go into this.
We kind of skipped right over it.
Let's see. 2022. No, we don't have anybody on that one. Okay, we're going to hear from the people who have signed up to speak at this time. And first, we'll call on, I believe it's Jenny Hunt, to speak on 2021-03. So come on up, Jenny. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Commissioner. My name is Jeannie Hunt, and I'm a resident in Paulding County on Seven Hills Boulevard. And this afternoon, we heard about a proposal for rezoning of property on Seven Hills Boulevard and Ivy Gulledge. And I heard and saw some proposals of what they were presenting, and I had some additional questions to that. I don't know if those questions could be answered or not, but I would like to at least share my thoughts. The conceptual site plan that was provided shows 710 lots being built out, but those lots are shown on the adjacent property that's owned by Pine Hill Investments. There are no lots specified on the 355 acres that's in question. It appears that there are about 170 acres designated as areas for homes. That would add another 330 homes to the 710 that they proposed, which would equal more than 1,000 homes, if what I'm seeing is what's true. I don't know what the current zoning is for the Pine Hill investment property that has about 350 acres as well. So my concerns are if the commission is approving 710 homes or 1,000 homes, and how it would impact the county. Based on calculations of schools and kids per homes, 1,000 homes, 2.5 kids per home, 2,500 kids in a school system that's already overcrowded. Now, it shows that they're proposing to build an elementary school, but there's no impact shown for upgrades on middle and high schools. So my concerns are, how many homes are they proposing? And I know that these, what they were saying earlier is that this is already zoned for R2, but I think steps need to be made to curb the amount of homes that are being built in this area, especially for traffic and schools. So those are my comments.
Okay,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much. I'm going to ask Chris Robinson if you would clarify, when we get into the Abney Austin property, that's a common boundary line, but it's not what this agenda item's about.
Gentlemen, that is, and ladies and gentlemen, that is correct. The Abney Austin tract, which is just to the east of this property, that abuts Ivy Gulledge Road or Gulledge Road and Seven Hills Connector, was rezoned about 15 years ago approximately. And it went through a development and regional impact process also for over, I know it's over 400 homes that was zoned PRD. And so that was zoned, like I said, around 15 years ago,
Okay, thank you.
and went through the proper hearings and such.
Okay, I'd like to call Jonathan Jones to come up on the, speak on the mandatory sewer versus local builder.
Good afternoon, Chairman and Commission. I appreciate the opportunity. I come before you tonight as a resident. I live at 1731 Old County Farm Road in Dallas, and also as a small business owner. I own the engineering, surveying, and construction management company here, and you guys have seen me on the development side many times. I come to you today to basically ask for some guidance about the direction of where we're going as it relates to Paulding County and the mandatory sewer basins. As it stands right now, the way I understand it is if you're in a mandatory sewer basin, you're almost obligated to tie into the sanitary sewer, or you can't do residential development. For instance, the Sweetwater Basin and the Pumpkin Vine Basin. So that, for all intents and purposes, leaves you to go out to Yorkville and build houses, and it kind of eliminates the local builder who, frankly, is probably 25% of my business, from being able to do a septic subdivision or a small development that may not be on sewer because the infrastructure costs are too extreme for the local guy. Large developments can handle the infrastructure costs, and if the small guy is lucky enough to grab up a piece that's on sewer, then kudos to him, and you know, he makes his way. I will say that this was spurred on by a rezoning application, 2021-04Z, that has been tabled to next month. That application is for a piece of property that's on Highway 61. It is in no man's land as it relates to sanitary sewer. It was proposed for a septic subdivision, and it'll be heard next month, hopefully. The seller of that property, who is actually not my direct client, is here, and he'll speak in just a little bit. But the concerns is if you take a piece of property like his, which is 45 acres, and it cannot physically be sewered. I mean, it would take $10 million and 7 miles of sewer, and you tell them that you're in a mandatory sewer basin, so their only option is to chop it up in 5 or 10 acre lots. That really depreciates the value of that property. 5, 10 acre lots does not sell the same as 41 acre lots. Plus, the guy who is buying this is a local resident builder who built in Seven Hills, he built in Bentwater, Heath Whittemore, Vine Creek Residential, and it really comes down to, there is a lot of things going on, like on Hollingshed and on Lucas Road and on Dabbs Bridge, where really nice pieces of property are being chopped up into 1, 2, 3, 5, 7 acre lots. I, as a resident, think it's wonderful. They're building $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 homes. They're beautiful. Home and Garden even had a special on 4 of the homes there on Dabbs Bridge Road. As a resident, and that being in a mandatory sewer basin, I would think we would not want to detour against that. If anything, I would think that there should be some direct path of a waiver, and it kind of be geared towards those with the common sense that if it's cost $10 million to sewer something, this 45 acres, it probably is an unsewerable piece of property, even though it's in a mandatory sewer basin. The final thing is if all of the land in these mandatory sewer basins were mandated to go to sewer, would we have the plant and capacities to be able to accommodate them? I know the answer as an engineer is absolutely not. So to make all the property in a mandatory basin mandatory to go to sewer is kind of far-fetched, because there's no way you could sewer all the land in a mandatory sewer basin. So I realize what the purpose of the mandatory sewer is. It's to pay for the infrastructure, to pay for the maintenance, to pay for the facilities and all that. I want to try to get some clarification from the board and or staff before I come before you guys next month on a zoning hearing as to what is the intent for Paulding County and residential developments in mandatory sewer basins for properties that may not be able to be tied to sewer. I thank you greatly for your time, and I look forward to seeing you next month.
Thanks, sir. Deborah Seaver on NPR zoning. It's the same thing.
Thanks for giving me an opportunity to speak on this. You know, I was on the zoning board this morning, or this afternoon, and had some questions and concerns. I think that the property and the product that they're going to be building on the Gullidge, Seven Hills property, I think it's going to be great. I think I understand the intent on what they were doing and trying to help builders come in and get smaller pieces of chunk off, you know, that made sense. But I think Brian made a good, and I wish it was done previously at zoning on this NPR, and it just kind of bypassed all of us regarding the rentals. So as of today, this 700 some odd home parcel would allow for 50%, up to 50% rentals, which is about 350 homes. So I went home and I talked to, and after speaking to some different people about how we regulate that, for example, Jody and so forth, so I called somebody that really works with property management and HOAs, and he said what they do, and he has this company, he said what they do is they actually have an HOA, but there are companies out there that are hired specifically to make sure that, that the rental portion is adhered to and that it's kept at, you know, the percentage that it's agreed on, because they actually hire another entity that they bring on to do this. Now, what this entity does is they go out and they search rentals, you know, like online and everything, like to see who is actually renting in that area. He said, so it really is doable. So I think that could be something, and I see that you guys put that in there, that they would have to have an HOA that would oversee the rentals, which I think is great. So I started talking to him and asking him, because this is what he does. He goes out there and he works with these subdivisions, and he actually is the HOA. And I said, traditionally, what is your cap rate on subdivisions? And he said, all the ones that he works in, he said, traditionally, it's 10% is what the cap rate is on the rental property. My concern with a heavy dose, and I'm sure that's not what they're going in there trying to do. I mean, that's not the intent, would to be build rentals, even though right now, you know, we were talking about what the market is dictating, right? The market dictates a certain product, right? We can all, you know, understand that. So right now, the market is dictating rentals. So we're seeing companies such as what I mentioned today, ResiBuilt, right? Large company, they've been around for several years. I've known the owner of ResiBuilt for about 13 years. And, you know, I talked to him several weeks ago about what they do and, you know, who the people are that, you know, that come in and rent their property. So right now, it seems like the market is dictating a high percentage of rentals, whether it be people don't want to stay in their home, they don't want to have to maintain it, whatever that case may be. So, so the market right now is dictating rentals. So what can we do? And I don't dare want to stop this development from moving forward or doing what they're wanting to do. But I'm thinking maybe we can put a couple guidelines in place that might assure the surrounding property owners, assure them that this is going to be a product and a subdivision that they don't need to be concerned about and scared of, right? So, because we know that rentals definitely bring down the property values. I've been in real estate 25 years. We do know that. Another thing is what is going to keep a rental from being a Section 8? Now, are there still Section 8s? Well, absolutely, there are. There is in the Seven Hills, Cedar Crest area. There are Section 8s. How do we keep that from happening? Is there a way that we can do that? I don't know. I'm sure our little attorney over there might have some ideas. Because we know that right now, our current administration is, and you know, with the right heart in mind, they're making evictions impossible, right? For people, and this is during the COVID season, and I definitely understand that. But at what point does that get released, or does it even get released? So if you have someone in there that's renting a property, we know right now that it is difficult to evict somebody. So there's a lot of concerns that I have over this 50% of rentals. I'm sorry, thank you. I am Wendy. So thank you for your time.
Hey, thank you, Ms. Seaver. Next, we have Tim Murphy. He's going to speak on, well, it just says planning and zoning.
Well, I should have known not to follow Deborah. She answered a lot of my questions, but I do have a question on exactly where it is, because it does kind of, it leaves me, I live in Seven Hills. My name is Tim Murphy, by the way. And it does concern me because of the traffic that would come down Seven Hills Boulevard pretty much on a daily basis. But whereabouts on, is it on that extension by the stop sign going on to Gullidge, or is it actually on Gullidge Road, the property itself?
Chris, do you got a layout that you can put up and show them? Might be easier. But it's in between, like, where the median ends and the three-way stop.
Okay, so it's
That's probably the
in
easiest
that
way.
extension where it used to be what Chapel, Grand Chapel or something like that, that they changed the name a couple of years ago. So it's in that little section there, so. I mean, my question to you, Brian, is you're my post, chairman, commissioner, is that it is something important to Seven Hills. And this is what I've always expressed to any of the, okay, so it's
There's the big curve
curve.
right down here is where the two Gullidge roads.
I got it. So this is 700 Boulevard here.
It starts right up in
Right.
here. Yep.
So, and this is where it's gonna be in this area here?
There's this area here.
This
It's
area.
landlocked.
It's landlocked.
Their
So
access
it's,
comes through this property.
gotcha, so it's behind it comes through this property.
Yes.
Gotcha, all right. All right. It's a little clearer to me now, because I'm trying to figure out where it was there. But it is something that would concern me if those roads are gonna enter onto Seven Hills Boulevard. I mean, I imagine they will through one of the neighborhoods there. But it's something that would concern a lot of people tonight. I just found out about this an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago. And Facebook blew up. So, I mean, it does concern. It's something that needs to be brought up. I mean, we're adamant about who we vote for in Seven Hills, and that's one of the reasons why we vote, is we being told that this person's gonna stand up for, some of what we believe in and what we need to know about what's going on there. Because if Deborah hadn't brought it up, nobody would be here. I think there was one person the other day or this morning that showed up. And it almost seems like it gets passed in the middle of the night, and now all of a sudden we have a development back there that may well be there and may well be all right, it's fine, but it's the lack of knowledge of what's going on that usually causes a little bit of concern and disdain amongst at least people in Seven Hills. I don't know about the other communities on Gullidge Road, but in Seven Hills, this is something that we probably should have been. I'm telling you right up now that we should have kind of had an idea. This is what we vote you for, not just to come here every month and do what you do. Okay, and this is the reason why with Jason and some of the others, they all got together. There's a lot of people in Seven Hills that voted for you. I'll be honest with you, and that's something that in the future we need to know about. If there's going to be something that's going to impact just even driving through it or our home values, then we need to know about it and have a little input on it so that we have a little more clear information on it. I know now just listening there, but I'm still kind of questioning exactly what it is. I understand rentals. I've had them myself in New York. I've had Section 8s in New York, and it all worked out, but not in a kind of a planned community like this. So I don't know if that's even doable, but it does concern us, Brian. And that's I had to switch kind of what I was going to say because I think Deborah took most of it up. But we'd appreciate a little bit more openness on what's going on in our post from you. Because that's why we voted you in. We voted in you because you said you'd be more open to talking to us, and be honest with you, I haven't seen you since I voted for you. So, and that just seems to be the case with everybody I vote for on this commission, unfortunately. But I appreciate it. Thank you.
Right, and just answer some of your questions. sorry you feel that way, but, I mean, so that's one of the reasons even like Deborah was asked to be put on the planning and zoning, being that she's from that area. But there is, Hope Signs was posted correctly to get the word out and let everybody be aware of it. But as far as the rental piece of it, I think I may need to explain that, take a minute and explain it, because it's not saying that there's gonna be 355 rentals. What I'm saying is I have sent back and I've seen old failed developments in this county, PRDs, that failed back in 2008 in the recession. And then when we came back, you had a half-built subdivision or 75% built subdivision.
Right, yeah, I've seen many of those myself.
And then the homeowner association might have failed, who knows? But then, and then Raisy Built or somebody else came in and built them out with residential,
Listen, as far as rentals, my mother lived in it was an over 55 and it was run great. They had their own pool, they had everything. It was taken care of. I mean, that's the one thing, as long as it is, it looks like it said it was gonna have a homeowners association, so, you know, that, but again, when people hear that, so, I mean, Facebook is blowing up, not that I get on much, but, so, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
You
don't
might have
use
a
it a whole
couple of
lot
calls, I
myself,
don't know, and it wasn't me, I'm just, I come here in person, I'd rather tell you in person and put something on here, because, you know, I've met you before, like I said, I was, sat down with Jason before, voting for anybody, and, you know, I knew you ran last time, and then this time that you ran, we, you know, I think it was even, is this your second one, you're on, this is your first, so I was gonna say, but, you know, well, we appreciate it if you do that. I mean, really, it is just about information. You know, we try to get it out there so that they kind of quell it, but there are concerns here. There's got to be probably over 100 posts on each one of the, there's 2 different posts, and you know, that's how I know, because I'm on one of the committees in Seven Hills, and I know when there's a concern, because as soon as it blows up, I know that it's gonna, you know, I got to do something. But I appreciate the time, thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Murphy. I'd like to take a moment to ask our clerk, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but a description of how you get information out at a certain time on the Friday before the Tuesday meeting. And then I'd like to call on Ms. Lippman, Community Development, and also ask how the information of who's applying on that 4th Tuesday of every month, how you all disseminate that information about the applications, just so people watching on TV and in the room here would have an understanding about how much effort we put into getting the word out about what we're going to cover on any given meeting.
Okay, yes, Chairman, what we do is we make sure that we get the agenda out Friday on the website. It's posted downstairs, and we try to get it on our social media. So the agenda is out there the Friday before the meeting and for the public to view. Any backup material or anything, there's always, if someone wants to get any of that information, they can certainly contact our office, and we can provide that information for them.
And just for information, Mr. Murphy and others, the backup material gets into detail about what we're going to cover on the agenda.
As far as the community development side, when you submit a rezoning application, we do require that the property be posted. It has to be posted no less than 45 and no less than 15 days before a hearing. So we provide signs that people wishing to rezone property post on any road frontage of their property. We also have a requirement that adjacent property owners receive a letter. That's sent out by the county. We put our agendas, Planning Commission meets 2 o'clock on the 4th Tuesday of every month. We put our agendas up on our website, and those are the ways that we get, most people we find out about cases by the letters that go out to adjacent property owners. But those are the ways that we get information out about Planning Commission.
Okay, thank you all for clarifying that. I think it's important with the comments that were made. Next, we have Emily Jeffries, speak on planning and zoning.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for your time. I'm here as well as a Seven Hills homeowner and a mother of 2 small children. Daddy's home cooking dinner. So I obviously feel pretty passionate about my reason for being here today. Working mom, pretty busy, so I appreciate the time and the opportunity to speak. I may be a little more cynical than some of the people that spoke before me. I obviously, well, not obviously, I have concerns about building a neighborhood that large. It sounds like I'm probably too late to speak on that. Like, that sounded like it had been zoned and planned, developed 15 years ago, something. Maybe I misheard that. But at the very least, I would like to talk about rental properties. I moved here about 1.5 years ago because I wanted a community to raise my children in. And they are currently districted to Abney Elementary with 1,200 students in it currently. They are rezoning, and where they're looking to see where they're going to be sending the kids next year, because they are already overcrowded with 1,200 plus students at Abney. So when you talk about 700, and then we're talking 300 more, which I was not aware of, that's a concern. So to me, right, not only do you have the schools that are already overcrowded, at what level do you cut off an elementary school? Most of us went to probably 500 student elementary schools, not 1,200. That was a high school size. Traffic, right? Seven Hills Boulevard. They are just building like crazy, and that's great. I love to see the community. That's what I'm there for. But when you start building neighborhoods that are designed for rentals, you have people that are not invested in the community. They are not permanent residents there. It's not their property. They don't worry about property value. You know, my home is my largest investment, and I take it pretty seriously. I respect my property. I try to take good care of it, and I also worry about my children and their education and where we're going to cap these schools off. So, again, I must be a little bit more cynical than others. In general, the whole development scares me because I don't see any plans for action, future thinking, and I understand there are some limitations that you have to be at max capacity throughout the county, whatnot. So thank you for your time, and that's really all I had to share, so thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Jeffries.
Well, before you leave, I'd like to maybe explain again. What was proposed was not that it's going to be half rental.
Yes, and that is extreme.
No, what I'm saying, it was proposed just so if a ever failed community would prevent, homeowners association would prevent,
No,
hopefully,
I disagree
most of
with
them,
that.
so.
The homeowners association does not prevent anything. I've lived in neighborhoods with homeowners association. I think we all did in 2008 when you just saw people's properties just falling apart. I personally would much rather live in a community with some open land that had development homes that weren't sold, maybe weren't completed, maybe they were even empty streets. Honestly, I'd rather have some green space, which is why I moved to Paulding County. I think that's what's attracting people here. But to say we are safe by homeowners associations, I would call that a falsehood.
Well, yeah, I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying.
Okay, sorry.
So the subdivision, what subdivision do you live in?
I live in Seven Hills.
So 100% of that subdivision could be a rental right now. This
There are
one-
no restrictions on
There's
Seven
no-
Hills?
Not from the county side. I've been looking, and like I said, I've seen this rental stuff, and that's where I just wanted to prevent something for a failure one day, if it ever was to happen, like we've seen in '08. There's not a subdivision in Paulding County that has any restrictions from the county level. So in my mind was so that everyone that I've seen was a failure
I gotcha.
of the '08 recession, and if some of these would have been done the same way, we wouldn't have those being built right now. If that
So
three
if
or-
the community failed, let's say
So
they
there's-
had let's say they had that 10% restriction, the
So that-
community failed, the homeowners association went out of business, they couldn't build,
So there's, say, some of these subdivisions that went down in '08,
right?
that was, say, 60% built.
Right.
if they would've had that restriction on that subdivision back in '08, the resident wouldn't have been able to build out that back section of that subdivision where you wouldn't have a mixture of, say, single-family housing. And then that you bought into a subdivision thinking that you was gonna be protected. This was just a thought of mine, that, because I don't like the thought of rentals like that either.
Yes.
So this was just something that I've seen happen over the past, and it was just a way of
So you're saying
going
it's
above
not,
and beyond the homeowners association.
you're saying it's never usually restricted at
There's
that
not ever
level?
one, there's not one in Paulding County that's ever been restricted. This is going above and beyond anything we have out there.
Okay.
And the developer, or the person that's putting this development on, is the same one that was part of developing Seven Hills and Bentwater, which you failed to love, I'm sure, and I think it's a great development. And hoping that this is gonna be the same thing, it's just an additional thing, just in case, because you never know what's gonna happen.
Got it. I did not realize it was not normally capped.
Never been
At
capped.
this level.
We've
That's
never had
great.
that
That's
in
great to
Paulding
hear.
County.
That's a relief.
So it's not me saying I want 50%. And, I could have left it alone, but I just thought, you know what?
You were trying to put some restrictions on it.
Something on there. So it's not saying I want them, because I don't. So I just
You want
wanted
to restrict it at 10%?
and I'm the world's worst at explaining something. So I felt like maybe I didn't do a good job earlier today.
Well, that's a relief. Thank
And I
you.
just wanted to, so.
Thank you. I did not realize that. And I'll be honest, I'm ignorant. Although I'm cynical, I'm also ignorant to this process. It's very intimidating. I could see why our neighbors wouldn't be intimidated to come up here.
Because we're
I'm a
all,
little hot around the ears right now. So thank you so much.
but with these masks, we look better.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Jeffries. Next, we're going to have Mr. Simon Bloom speak on 03.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have nothing to comment on or add other than to avail myself to the commission for any questions that you all might have on the application Z03. You all are very, very familiar with it. You were here at the Planning Commission meeting. I addressed all questions that came up at the time, including your all's, and if anyone has anything else to ask, I am happy to address it.
Well, thank you for
Just to be clear, it is zoned R2 as we speak. You can put those 710 homes on that property, masquerade the whole thing, and be done with it.
Affirmative.
So now you are doing NPR. You want to change it to NPR, which is a much nicer plan. Still 710 homes. You're helping with sewer. You're helping with districting in schools. Not districting, but maybe property for a school.
Correct.
And
Traffic, road improvements as well.
and road improvements. If they went ahead and did this today, the way it is, you're gonna have those 710 homes, and you're not gonna have all the niceties. It's just gonna be the 710 homes. So it's kind of like, be careful what you ask for, because they can do it right now. They don't need us. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I have seen quite a few of these over the years, and I say this with all sincerity. Rarely do I see a developer that submits itself to more restriction, which is more expensive and requires more investment
Very
than they've
rare.
done. I mean, they've been working with the county on this for at least 18 months.
Uh-huh.
So all of the things that you just said, yes, and any other questions, I'm happy to answer.
And that was just for the audience, so they could be clear on it as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Lauren Martin on Planning and Zoning.
Sure, I apologize. I thought I was signing in, letting you know I was here. I'm a newbie.
You're fine. Thank you. Greg Randolph on 04Z.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm a resident of Paulding County. I own this property. I've been here for 16 years. Recently sold my house in Riverwood and bought out in Pickett's Mill. In this time frame, my wife and I were able to purchase this property out on 61 that y'all are having this mandatory sewer basin issue. We're in a position, we're trying to sell this property, we have a buyer for it, and then I get this text today that, hey, you need to be here tonight, because if we can't get sewer out there, you've got a piece of property that you bought that's worth nothing. I run a business in this county, I pay taxes here, I have for a long time. I build swimming pools here, I've built some for you, I know Brian, personally got no problem with you except your dump fees. They're too high. We can talk about that later.
Don't say that about your pools.
I bring a lot of junk to you. I do that. But I just want to I got woke up today that all of a sudden, I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on 47 acres that now I'm finding out because of some kind of ban on sewer when there is no sewer out there. Nowhere. That I may not be able to sell this property or do anything with it, but put horses on it, or a go-kart track, or a self-storage, or a concert hall. I mean, outdoor, I don't know. My mind's running what I could do with it if I can't sell it. I got to get some kind of income out of it, or I'm going to hear it when I get home. Told you not to buy that. I know that. Anyways, I thank y'all for just hearing my heart in it. I don't know where this goes, but thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Randolph. And a point of clarification for community development, this one's postponed? Okay, so it wasn't on the agenda today. The next one is 03, which is Stephen Corno is what it looks like.
Thank you for your time. I found out from Deborah and everybody else a couple hours ago. I own property in the county. I own many rentals in the county. I understand the idea is to set it up not to fail. I understand what happened in 07, 08. I've been a real estate broker. I've owned my own brokerage for the last 13 years. I understand you're trying to put things in place, so God forbid, whatever happens, we have properties that we can still develop, we can put people in them and have income, so it's a moving situation. We're not having a dead subdivision, and I get that. You're already setting us up, though, with overreaching our powers is what it feels like. Why can't we set it up with a 10% cap and say, listen, market tanked. Can we reassess things and say, we need a hardship? We need 15%. We need 20% to keep things moving and not have it dead. It's like we're asking for so much. We're reaching so far on the what if. We're going to have more issues with our schools. My wife's a teacher in the county. I know how many kids are in the schools. My kids are in North. We're already taxed enough. Why make this, God forbid, a transient county more than it already is? We already have plenty of rentals. I own them. It doesn't behoove me to say, let's not have more. But adding to it just taxes our resources, what we got. It's hard to follow up, Deborah. She said it extremely well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Also on 03 is Ben. Okay. Okay. Well, thank y'all for sharing your ideas. These are difficult issues and a changing economy and a changing world for sure. All right, we're on the Planning Commission's voting and their recommendation and their stipulations, and we got the 2021-02-Z. It's an application by Lori Martin requesting to rezone 21 acres from PRD Planned Residential Development District to R2 Suburban Residential District to return property to conforming zoning requirements. Property is located in land lot 606, District 2, Section 3, located near the corner of Watts Road and Coppermine Road in Post 3. The Planning Commission recommended approval with a vote of 6-0 and 1, and there are no stipulations. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Hart. Is there a second? I'll second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And any opposed? Carries 5-0. 2021-03 Zulu is application by Simon H. Bloom requesting the rezoning of approximately 355.2 acres of R2 Suburban Residential District to MPR Master Plan Residential District for a planned community development with a density of 2 units per acre and a maximum of 710 lots. Property is located in land lots 669 through 701, 740, 773, 812, 845, and 884 through 886. In District 3, Section 3, located west of Gullidge Road and Seven Hills Boulevard in Post 4. The recommendation from the Planning and the Zoning Committee Commission was approval with a vote of 5, 1, and 1. And 9 stipulations. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve with the 9 stipulations.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Stover. Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Commissioner Caker. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And any opposed? Carries 5-0. 2021-05-Z is application by Elite Engineering requesting to rezone 32.8 acres from R2 Suburban Residential to R2 with sewered suburban residential for the proposed development of a 63-lot single-family subdivision. The property is located in land lots 53 and 52, District 2, Section 3, located on the west side of Dallas Ackworth Highway and south of Industrial Boulevard North in Post 4. Do I hear a motion? Second. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve with the 12 stipulations.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Stover to approve with the 12 stipulations, and the recommendation from the afternoon 2 o'clock meeting was 6-0 and 1. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hart. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Carries 5-0. Obviously, this is an issue that the board will spend a lot of time discussing and studying, researching. Property rights, demographics, just policy for rentals, the concern about Section 8 housing, what percentage is right, or if any percentage is. One thing that I've always respected from an experienced person like Commissioner Stover is that we recognize that we're going to have growth. We're not going to be able to stop growth. Where we live is a beautiful county, and people are going to want to build here and live here. But what we can do is try in the allowable means to control that growth. And I know there's a commitment of all the commissioners that we do that. We spent a lot of time this evening listening to the ideas, and those don't go ignored or unheard. So we will work on policy and establishing what we think the best plan is for Paulding County. We all love Paulding County. That's the conclusion of the regular business. We have no executive session. No one who signed up to speak on non-agenda items. I would like to give the commissioners, as has become our custom, the chance to celebrate something or make an announcement, whatever's on their mind. Anyone?
Chairman, I'd like to say a few things concerning what went on here tonight. You know, it is funny, because I mean, I've been here all my life. I had never known anything any different. But when I was growing up, you couldn't see your neighbors, and you had a dirt road, and people on ditch bank to ditch bank. And I remember in the 80s, my uncle and Roy Lee Strickland getting death threats because they made you have 5 acres to have a trailer. I mean, things have evolved since then. And I would dare say to each one of these people that come up here, the same passion that brought them to this county is bringing other people to this county. And the same builder, in fact, is the guy who's putting this thing together. I think we need to be more tolerant, you know, sometimes of one another and of some growth. It's just like Carmichael's chairman said, is people want to be here. You know, that's a testimony, you know, to the county itself. And it's like he said also, it's just our job to try to be the guardrails for reasonable growth, because there is property rights that are in place. Thanks.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make an announcement, an exciting announcement from Post 1. It's my understanding we got the CO for Costco today.
What's a CO, sir?
A certificate of occupancy. That means we're going to be open for business. So, it's my understanding the fuel station will be open this Friday, the 29th, and we're scheduled for a grand opening on March 11th. Did I get that right, Scott?
I would like to thank an organization that this man on my right works for. We are very blessed to have Tally Richardson Cable serving the county in so many ways, and so I just thought I'd take the opportunity tonight, particularly since Mr. Phillips is over in Hiram working with that city, and Tom was going to be here. So Tom, we really appreciate how you've gotten involved in so many issues, spent so much time, and it never hurts for you all not to just charge us outrageously. So you recognize, I'm sure we got a lot of freebies and a lot of discussions that certainly you all consider them not billable because we don't get a bill for them. So.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It is an honor to serve this county. We've all done it for a long time. It's a privilege and an honor. So thank you very much.
And I'd just like to say something from what I said this morning as far as the litter that's going on in the county. You know, driving around the county, I've seen a lot of litter. I mean, through the winter time, I know it kind of gets like this sometimes, just the way the pickups are and the mowings and stuff like that. But you know, I'm not very proud to ride around the county streets and see a bunch of litter, and because you know, either it's from someone passing through or someone living here. But you know, if you live here, let's be proud. Let's you know, keep the wind up. Don't throw something out it. So you know, when you're on your way to Costco, don't throw out the cup when you're on your way home.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Commissioner Stover. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned.